We're the morning of Sunday the 19th. It blew like hell overnight from the southwest, and then it's veered a bit to the west now, which is good because it means that we're at the moment heading due south with just 1 and a bit panels up. Still blowing very strong. I'm not going to stick the camera outside because the cabin is completely sealed at the moment. No point having a completely watertight boat and then not docking everything down in heavy weather. It's just a precaution really. If we got knocked down or something like that, absolutely no water can get in, which is always a nice feeling in these sorts of conditions. So we're heading due south. At some point we've got to get some more westing in, otherwise we'll be running another 150 miles or so, be running straight into the oil rigs and so on. We've passed the some of the Norwegian ones, which are further inshore. So this wind is very, very slowly moderating, although the sky is still very angry, very confused. I think what we're doing here is that we are running the gauntlet of the jet stream, which I thought we were going to have to do. So we've got a lot of very confused weather, a lot of wind. Hopefully we can just force our way through and come out the other side, wherever that may be. So we just plug on for the moment. If the weather is doing what I think it is, I think what's happened is we're in the south side of a depression which has come in, so that joined forces with the outside of the high, which is why we got a real pasting last night, and now the wind is doing westerly rotation, so theoretically it ought to keep going around to the northwest, but whether it does, who the hell knows. If it does, it'd be very useful because that'll just carry us round further to the west anyway, which is what we need. Otherwise, I just have to wait for this wind to ease and for the sea to go down a bit, and then I can carry a bit more sail and push us further to the west. So there we are, the joys of small boat ocean sailing. Although I mean, Mingming has been fantastic really. We've taken a few knocks, but she's very stable, powers along quite nicely. The rig is very snug and very strong, so she's been great, because the last 24 hours are the worst conditions that she's had to cope with. Well, it's the evening of Monday the 20th of August. We're now fairly well past 64 degrees north. We're just coming up to 63.40. We're now in just 1 degree 27 east, so we're closing in on the Greenwich meridian. Stormy weather's behind us. At the moment we're in beautiful weather, trade wind sky. It's after 8 o'clock in the evening, and there we have a glorious sunset. Sun going down. Absolutely perfect breeze here from west-northwest. So we're on just on a shy reach, making excellent time at the moment. 4-panel set. And herring along. And I'm trying to make the most of this breeze because it's all looking very high pressury now that we've left the stormy bit behind. And I don't want to end up, if possible, becalmed in cyclonic weather. Just hope if we've got this westerly, northwesterly, which might theoretically turn to a northerly if we're in the eastern sector of a big high, but I don't know, you just don't know what's going to happen. But it looks very high pressure at the moment, so I'm trying to maximise this breeze. Hopefully it'll stick for a day or two, enough perhaps to get us to Shetland, which is now just not much more than 2.5 degrees away, so 150 miles. We can do that in 2 days with this wind. If it sticks just where it is, doesn't ease off, we're quite capable of doing that, despite the fact that we're going into the North Atlantic current. So there we are, perhaps one more look at this sun going down. A nice little clip to end the day. Well, it's the morning of Tuesday the 21st of August, our 51st day at sea. The wind has gone round into the southwest again, so it's right on the nose. So we're beating into it with 6 panels of sail, and she's doing pretty well. I don't know whether you can see the try and sorry. Hang on a minute. Well, I don't know whether you can see the wind vane or the arrow, what's it, at the top of the mast, the wind indicator. We're actually sailing the self-steering. Oh, I'd better come down here. The self-steering is set at 37.5 degrees to the apparent wind, and we're actually sailing okay. Obviously we're making leeway and the current's pushing us back and the waves are pushing us back and so on, but theoretically that gives us a tacking angle of 75 degrees. Of course it doesn't work out like that in practice, nothing like it, and I'm quite pleased with that. So my little homemade sail is not too bad. So we're going on the southerly tack at the moment. Let's come inside. There we are. A bit warm and quieter. Take that. Oh dear. Yeah, just to carry on, we're just about at 63 north now. We're about here. Problem is that we're coming now in a sort of south-southeasterly direction, and down here are all the oil rigs, and I'm starting to lose my westing. I don't want to get forced too far to the east, so at some point during the day I'm going to have to, I think, tack and hopefully not go to the northwest, hopefully go either straight across to the west or a little bit south of west before we come down here. That will have to be seen how well we do on that, but I can't continue on this tack indefinitely. I really don't want to get mixed up in all this lot. I want to keep to the west of them. There are too many oil rigs too close together, and the danger always is if I were to get becalmed in the middle of them, and that would not be pleasant, because we do have strong current here, and also coming down here I'll be starting to get into tides as well. So I've been coming very nicely to the south. We've made well over 60 miles to the south in the last 24 hours, but I'm losing ground. I'm drifting to the east, which I don't want, so I'm going to have to try and get westward, either by tacking or if there's a shift in the wind. It's always this same problem when you got a headwind. By the way, the north of Shetland is just down here. There's Mingming II, so we're not that far now. The problem when you got a headwind, or what you want, is just some kind of shift. 30 degrees either way will solve a lot of problems, but at the moment, after a couple of days of really good sailing, we're back in jail a little bit here. Well, I'll do my best to film this. It's the morning of Wednesday, 22nd of August, and we're now sailing in the roughest, or having our roughest ride of this voyage. We had a gale last night from the southeast, which for a little while was, I reckon it was a force 9. But now we've had a huge rotation. In a matter of hours, the sea's gone round from, or the wind's gone round from southeast to south to southwest, now to west, pretty much. So it has set up the most horrendous sea here, just waves coming in from everywhere. And I could just sit here, but I've be carried the wrong way. I mean, most of the time I've had the boat quite comfortable overnight, and I slept through quite a few hours of the blow. But I've got to get moving south with the wind in the west now. I'm just about making my right course here, but just for once I really do feel like we're in a washing machine. Wind's about 4-6 now from the west, and still seems to be rotating. We could very well end up in the northwest quite soon, which will all be to my advantage. But it is very uncomfortable. Here we're bucking and pitching and rolling. I don't know whether it really shows on this film, but I'll do my best. Again, I never seem to get these weather things right, but it sort of seems like we've come down the east side of or been caught on the southeast side of a depression, just come through and then rotated. So we're heading more or less due south, slightly east of south. So hopefully we should be working our way out of it. And the wind has been coming off a little bit. But the wind is not so much the problem at the moment, it's this really confused sea. Anyway, there we are. We're about 310 miles or so from Whitehall still, in about 62:37 or something like that. But we have managed to make some easting, so we're getting close to the Greenwich Meridian, which is good because it means we will miss all of the oil rigs to the south. Right, well that's enough of this.